Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I am Sunny Pancholi, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions, by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge-sharing community. We have one such corporate giant on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Subramaniam C. Doraswamy. He is an accomplished professional in the banking industry with extensive experience in risk and regulatory compliance. With a background in software product development and a career spanning nearly 2 decades in managerial roles, Mr. Doraswamy has established himself as a seasoned banker with a deep understanding of the banking domain. His expertise lies in regulatory reporting, trade finance, Basel, liquidity risk, credit and risk management, loans and advances, securitization, core banking solutions, and management information systems. He has developed automated regulatory reporting applications for various regulators across jurisdictions. At present, he is designated as Senior Manager, Product Strategy and Lead Business Analyst at Oracle Financial Service Analytical Applications. Welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, Mr. Doraswamy.
Thank you, Mr. Sunny. Thank you for your kind introduction.
So to begin with, could you please let our viewers know about your career journey so far by highlighting some of the most remarkable feats you have achieved?
I would be glad to. So see, my post-graduation and my computers, in the early 90s, I got selected with State Bank of India. So in the 90s, it was the most coveted organization at the time in banking, and it was the most sought after of the days. So my journey with banking started with retail banking. Okay. It was an exciting one. It had a bank branching, you had direct customer service, the challenges it posed. So at the early stage itself, apart from the functional knowledge, I discovered that communication plays a very important role in banking. I have a flair for languages and I am fluent in English, Hindi, and all the southern languages. So this helped me to connect with my customers easily. And a sort of personal bonding, but in a very professional manner developed. This not only helped me in getting my customer engagements ready, but also taking the customer experience to new heights. I could achieve business targets, like deposit mobilizations, cross-sellings, and I was a most sought after individual for my senior management at the time. So at an early stage in career itself, I would like to say that I understood that a successful banker, the key is a combination of the functional skills and as well as the communication skills. So now I speak about the branch management, and I have successfully handled the branches in retail sector from 3-member staff to a large of around 40-member staff, which is having a turnover around 50 to around 100 crores. So day-to-day customer banking, customer delight experience, account compliance, these were my key achievements at the time. So on the technology front, since I'm coming from a computer science background, I was always on the lookout to automate the things to reduce the process time and improve efficiency. I'm talking about in the late 90s. So it was a time that only standalone PCs were available. And so I created a database where my bank system, they could keep record of the things like locker access registers for some calculation purposes, for reminders, and standing instructions. And also this was widely appreciated by the management at the time. And next came the local area network, where all the branches were getting computerized and the bank branches were getting connected. Post that we came across the core banking, where I played a very key role in it. So in core banking, my task was, since I had a flair for computers and I had a good understanding of the banking practices at that time, so I was playing a sort of a bridge role, okay, between the techies and the functional requirements as such. So I used to connect with them, provide them the business requirements, validate their the scenarios for them, and then help them in developing the software. And this is how it started out there. And post that, and after around around 10, 13 years, then I moved to corporate banking. So this was a totally different ballgame. Okay, the general manager of a mid-corporate group where I joined. So he entrusted with me a unique task. He said he wanted to meet around 100 top corporate clients of Esteemed Bank, State Bank of India at the time. And he said, I wanted to get a feedback about how we are going about it and what are the pain points they are having in the banking sector. And at the same time, it was a time when internet banking was starting. So I wanted to present them to them, get into their idea about it, give them an idea how it will be, how transactions will be easy about it. So this assignment, I had the good fortune of meeting some CFOs, the CEOs, got a first-hand info on their requirements, expansion plans, their banking needs. So at the time, I introduced them to net banking, and they were very impressed about it. So this exposure was spread across various sectors. Okay, like because the companies and which I have entered, they were into various segments like textiles, like dairy, IT, and you have machine tools, auto components, construction. It was a wide spectrum of industry. So you get to understand their requirements and what is the pain points, how they expect about it. So this changed my outlook as to how the credit was translated into an economic value. The process from credit assessment, credit monitoring, control was very enriching. So to go to the next thing, that is IT. So after around 2 decades in various facets of banking, I observed that there was a huge demand in the IT to banking domain sector for experienced bankers to go, and I had a chance to contribute. So that's when I decided to switch from pure banking area to IT banking sector. I joined Walters Kluwer's, were a pioneer in regulatory reporting and compliance solutions. And it was a product-based company. And I joined as a lead business analyst at that time. And this role entailed me, the role here entailed me to directly interact with multinational banks who are the clients and the regulators across geographies. Like you have Reserve Bank of India in India, you have a Monetary Authority of Singapore, US Fed, OSFI in Canada, and EBA in Europe, and even the subject matter expertise. So responsibilities included anything, analyzing the reports requirement and across the categories like balance sheet reporting, risk reporting, and statistical reporting and capital reporting. So this gives me an excellent opportunity to understand the global banking practices. Okay, and since, as I mentioned, since around 2021, now I'm working with Oracle Financials as a lead product manager for North America region.
Great. Mr. Doraswamy, that's an excellent start to this interview. Continuing our conversation, we would like to know which of your job responsibilities have you enjoyed the most and which ones have you taken a lot of learnings from?
Yeah, Sunny, to begin with, the learning started from a retail banking itself, the customer experiences, how you manage the crowd management, and the thing. So that was one challenging aspect. And another one is from the corporate side, the back office processing, like how the credit detail calculation happens and what are the things to be taken. That was quite challenging. But most thing I enjoyed was the role of an asset verification officer. So in the particular role, what happens is when by the big corporates, they finance to, when the big banks, they finance to the corporates, you know, the value of the finance would be somewhere in the range of ranging from 50 crores to around 500 crores. So this would spread across industry. So we were mandated to visit this it was a routine practice that we need to visit the facilities where we have provided the advance to see how they are progressing on it. So and this was again spread across various sectors, as I said, from steel, chemical industry, shipping industry, food processing, and you have IT and things. So there I got to know when I used to approach them, understand them, go through their statement, the processes, how they work across the challenges they were facing, the improvements they can bring, and what value a bank can add. So this was a role I enjoyed a lot because the learning got from this from the macroeconomic perspective was a great learning over here.
All right. Okay. So moving ahead, we would like to know, do you think that fintechs really work on a revolutionary finance model? If yes, then how do you envisage fintech's position in India's finance sector in few years from now?
See, financial technology or fintech, as you're popularly called as, was initially thought of to as an automate the deliveries, right, and use of the financial service. Now, fintech company helps companies, consumers, and businesses owners to manage their finances. Okay, fintech's effective usage evolved from core banking, because once the banks were connected, the systems were in place, and the customer has easy access. This is how it started. It started gaining momentum. Okay, this gave customers a much needed break, because they were not required to go to the conventional banking where they need to stand in serpentine queues, okay, and endure all the ordeals. And for the day-to-day banking, like depositing money, withdrawal of money, and even for transferring money, for all those things. So I recollect in my old days, we used to have separate counters for all this, and there used to be long queues and all. But now, with all the fintech advantage, you can, in a jiffy, you can do about it, right? And this saves the bank's time. Their bank can focus on more productive things, and also the customer's time, where he can also focus on things. Okay, and this all were shifted to the next level with the advent of smartphones and the startups. The fintech has revolutionized the financial world, be it in day-to-day banking, purchasing of an insurance policy, invest in stocks, invest in precious metals or mutual funds, direct trading, whatever you name it, vehicle finance, everything you name it. Okay, the list is endless over here. Okay. The master stroke, I would say, was in the payment domain. Mobile payment apps like GPay, PhonePe has almost replaced the physical currency transactions, especially in India. The acceptance is nothing short of a miracle, I would say. The Gen Zs are already traveling across cashless. Cabs, hawkers, stores, hospitals, you name it, hotels, everywhere they are accepting this, what do you call digital P, right? Today, one can even one can feel the fintechs. Okay, it has transcended all across the society. Whether you go to a big mall to shop, whether you go for purchasing some white goods, or you can go to some hawkers, in this hawker carts, whatever you purchase, irrespective of the value, they just have a QR code you need to scan. There the transaction is done. This is amazing. The person may be an illiterate, but still he knows if you use this code, the money gets credited to us. So this is something tremendous, right? And I said, this has become a game changer, and now many countries across the globe are looking towards India for this change, because India being a country of 1.1 billion, 1.4 billion population, and if you have rolled out something which is a great success, it can be easily emulated across Europe and other countries. Okay, and I would say India has emerged as a pioneer in fintech. They are designed to challenge, I'll tell you, and eventually take over traditional financial services. Fintech is going to take over the traditional financial services provided because they are quite nimble, serving the underserved strata of the society, segment of the population. They are identifying the gaps and financial service and bridging those gaps. Yes, sir.
Rightly said, rightly said, Mr. Doraswamy. Okay, so moving ahead, my next is on ESG and corporate governance. So how pro ESG, according to you, is the banking industry? And do you think India needs better corporate governance policies for the banking industry?
Well, environment, social, and governance, which is now ESG, we popularly called as, right? This provides a lot of opportunities, and risks are becoming more and more relevant for financial institutions, right? Because these are basically mandated by companies to operate, and companies are corporates are financed by the financial institutions. So financial institutions have an edge. If they are laid down these rules and compliances, it will be easy for easier for the society to get these results. Not only to ESG considerations make sense how the environment, sustainable operations are linked to better economic performance, per se. Banks are therefore concerned not only with their own ESG footprint, right, but also with the ESG risks and opportunities which are subject to a lender. This is coupled now with a constant flow of new regulations coming across various international forums, which we are coming, and they're bringing extensive compliance. And we are getting into such horizon scanning challenges for the banks, how to place this and in our local environment how to comply with it, because the international bodies, they specify a broad outline, okay, how this has to be done. But then it has to come from the local perspective. We need to think from a local perspective. What are the challenges we have? Then we need to formulate these plans accordingly and then come up. So this is a big challenge which they're having. Okay. But banks have realized that by embedding ESG across their business, bank can better understand and manage their own climate changes and sustainability transformations. Okay. And also those of their clients. They can identify and manage climate risks, okay, attract new customers and develop and all new products as such. So banks, basically, they have to strategically assess how they are compared to their peers, how they are going to meet their public net zero commitments, which have been done. Are the products offered ready for from ESG perspective? Is there any ESG incorporated target operating model? How they're engaging with their clients and their transition to transitional strategies. These things play a very important role. See, basically, banks are the bloodline for economy. Difficulties in their operation could disrupt the country's development itself. Okay, like we have the systematically important banks, which we say across the globe. You know, every country is a country, and their government and the central bank have identified some specific banks. They are called as systematically important banks. Okay, in our Indian context, I would say that we are having State Bank of India, ICICI, and HDFC are the systematic bank. Okay, and their survival is very crucial for it. Okay, and they are the leaders; they can change it. Corporate governance is of a paramount importance in banks. It enhances the long-term shareholders' value through accountability, transparencies, okay, and statutory disclosures. Okay, we have Basel norms, Basel Committee for Supervisions, the apex body, which periodically issues guidelines on corporate governance also in this aspect. Okay, so there are key elements, as for me, in corporate governance for banks. One is the board of directors for oversight, we have to see senior management for internal controls and supervisions to promote good governance and assess banking practices. Okay. Employees and shareholders too can contribute in maintaining a good corporate governance because they have the right to ask, right? So malpractices plaguing the banking industry are internal lending to officers, employees, preferential treatmenters, and other favorite things. These are the conflicts of interest which we look into.
Absolutely. So before we conclude our discussion on corporate governance and ESG, I would like to ask you, as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
See, as an expert in ESG and corporate governance, the benefits which I feel that I can bring to the table are as follows, right? Sustainability, social responsibility, a long-term value creation, stakeholder engagement, ethical governance, to name a few. So in sustainability, if I have to speak, I can prioritize sustainable practices and help organizations integrate environmental considerations into their strategies. That focuses on minimizing negative impacts on the environment, promoting resource efficiencies, and supporting the transition to low carbon economy. Okay. And in social responsibility, recognize the importance of social factors and work to improve the social impact of businesses that promote fair labor practices, diversity and inclusion, community engagement, and ethical supply chain management. So initially, now there is a lot has been done from labor perspective. Labor laws have improved a lot. They have started considering essential part. The work-life balance has been brought now in many companies. Work-life balance is given more importance than monetary compensation. So these are all the changes which you can see, right? And the organizations understand, address the social needs and expectations of the various stakeholders. And in long-term value creation, I mean, I can emphasize a link between sustainability and long-term value creation. See, as long as the climate and universe is there, we survive. So we need to always keep this in mind. So that helps companies identify and manage risks and related to ESG issues, such as climate change, regulatory changes, and you have this reputational risks. Okay, this has to be considered. Like we had some cases with companies like Rio Tinto of mining companies, and you have British Petroleum and all. In their overseas oil rigs and all, they had their leaks, and it was a huge, colossal loss from climate perspective, and as well as from their financial risk. So these things and all we need to take care, and we need to address it. So by integrating ESG considerations into their strategies, organization can enhance their resilience, attract investors, and improve upon their functional performance. and coming from stakeholder management, if you say. So I can facilitate effective stakeholder managements and ensuring that organizations listen to and address the concerns of the stakeholders. They help build relationships with stakeholders, employees, customers, communities, because everybody has a stake in this particular initiative, right? And above all, we are having with ethical governance. I can advocate for being from risk regulation and governance. I can advocate for strong corporate governance practices that support the establishment of independent boards, effective risk management, transparent reporting, and accountability mechanisms that help organizations align their governance structures with ESG objectives to ensure responsible decisions make an ethical behavior. Okay, and last but we would say regulatory compliance for that perspective. Okay. I prefer to stay up to date. Being in this regulatory space, we need to see what's happening around the globe, and I keep up to date of the relevant laws, regulation. And since now I'm working in the specific domain, I get to see across the geographies what are the or the latest updates which come, and especially from ESG perspectives. So that can help organizations navigate through their regulatory landscape and ensure compliance to reporting requirements. Okay, and above all, another one thing is reputation and brand enhancement, right? So if your company now, if you say that you are a pioneer in ESG aspects, that you have put environment, you have put the planet before our profits as such, that carries a lot of value in the society. The importance of their brand. So I can help the organization to help build reputation from this perspective. So they can, by demonstrating their commitment to sustainability and responsible business practices, they can attract customers, investors, top talent who align with the organization's values. Overall, as an ESG and a corporate governance expert, I bring a comprehensive understanding of sustainability, social responsibility, those long-term values, long-term value creations, and stakeholder engagement, ethical governance, and which will help organizations thrive in a responsible and a sustainable.
Rightly said, Mr. Subramaniam. Okay, so let's move on. And my next is from the technology space, since it has become an integral part of our lives. So as someone working closely with technology, what are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen in your field with changes in technology? And what changes do you expect to see with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, Web 3.0, big data, etc.?
See, the notable changes and expectations, what I say is the connectivity and the internet. The widespread available of the internet as such, okay, has revolutionized how we communicate across access information and conduct businesses, right? And mobile and the internet has connected people globally across the world. Now geography is no border at all, whether it may be any industries, right? From entertainment, banking, retail, education, it is across. So that is a big change it has become. Now, people, let us say from in education field, if you see a teacher sitting in India has students across the globe, right from Australia to America, because they have the difference of the cost, so they get, so here you see an opportunity for employment opportunity here, and we get a good earnings from there. So this is one thing, and their needs are met across the globe. That is one thing. And if you see in companies now, we are working with virtual teams who are sitting at various geographies. We are able to leverage on their expertise. Okay, at the same time, with no change in their base locations, this helps them to. It will be more comfortable for them to be in their own comfort zones. So these are all the things which has come out with connectivity with them. And the mobile revolution, if you say, the rise of the smartphones and the mobile apps, it has a significant impact on daily lives. Today, for everything you have an app. If you want to book for a medical appointment, if you want to go for if you want to take a cab to go, if you want to book a hotel reservations, everything, it has tips, okay, to shop, work. So this is it has become an essential part of our personal and professional lives as such. Artificial intelligence and machine learning. So this is not basically a very new concept. Only thing is we have started giving currency to this. It is since around 1960s, 70s itself, scientists have started working about this and seeing the benefits of it. So it took some around 50 years for us to come to this state where it has become a course and it has become a career pursuit for this. Okay. And Artificial intelligence powered technologies are being into various applications and services, right? Ranging from voice assistants and chatbots to recommendation systems, okay, autonomous vehicles. So these and all would not have been possible without the things. And machine learning algorithms enables complex data. See, now over the past around 15 years after post-computerization, every organization sits on a huge data. Okay, and now what we need is, and the human mind cannot process the data at that speed. So machine learning is of paramount importance, where this data can be processed into information and be a guiding thing to take decisions. And speaking of Internet of Things refers to the network of interconnected devices embedded with sensors, software, and connectivity, allowing them to collect and exchange data. Okay. It has the potential to transform industries such as healthcare and transportation, and even develop smart cities. So it helps in better monitoring and automation and optimizing the processes and the devices. And speaking of blockchain technology, per se, blockchain is a decentralized and a transparent, we can say, ledger technology that has gained prominence with the advent of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Okay, beyond cryptocurrencies, blockchain has the potential to revolutionize various sectors, including finance, supply chain, healthcare, and enables transparent transactions and data storage. Okay, so now with the advent of artificial intelligence, you have Internet of Things, blockchain technology, and then comes the big data analysis, which has given a lot of opportunities, which is coming up, which we see in data analysis. Okay. And expectations for the future, from my perspective, basically would include what you call a greater integration and proliferation of Internet of Things, leading to smarter homes and cities, advancement in artificial intelligence and machine learnings, and continued growth in blockchain. So these are the things I foresee for the future.
That was really very insightful of you, Mr. Subramaniam Doraswamy. Okay, so last question of the session. We are building a community of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So what are your thoughts about these initiatives taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the team of WDC?
So this is a very novel initiative which they have taken. I think there was a great demand for this particular space, which was not addressed at all. So by your grooming leaders, right, this is a great opportunity and even a service to society and mankind, I feel. So where corporates get a good groomed, aware professionals they get. So this is an initiative. I really appreciate the Heval Mehta, Zishan Pathan, and the World Corporation team for what they are doing. I see this as a great service to the team, and it is a demand of the time and the industry. Yeah.
Great. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that you're the future leaders. Thank you, Mr. Subramaniam Doraswamy, for joining us today. Wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute has unquestionably expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds.